Welcome to the Tower Yoga Podcast, where we dive deep into the heart of yoga and community. Come along with us as we explore the transformative power of yoga, share insights, and inspire one another on this journey of life. I'm Kellee Williams, and I'm your host and the co-founder of Tower Yoga. Thank you for joining our yoga community. Hello, and welcome in to the Tower Yoga Podcast. I am very happy to be here with Brooke from the Tower District Library. We are fortunate enough to have crossed paths with this individual who's doing or trying to do something really, really beautiful for the community here in the Tower District. So welcome, Brooke. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the lovely introduction.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of what we're talking about today?
Sure. I am a resident of the Tower District. I also am a part of an organization, a community space in the Tower District, Root Access. It's been there for 7 years this year. My husband founded it. He's the executive director. It is a makerspace that is available to the community in the Tower District. And it just provides things that people may not have access to, given disposable income or a lack of an education on a certain tool that they want to use, 3D printer, resin printer, laser cutter. I'm the crafting director, and I am also the crafting instructor, which means that I help people with things like sewing, knitting, crocheting, fiber arts, textile arts, and not only do I offer classes in sewing, knitting, and crocheting, we are now also offering create a class. So if somebody wanted to learn how to make something specific, I could help them with that. But what we do not do is we are not big enough to help everyone in the Tower District, nor do we offer everything that people need in the Tower District, because we are an adult space. So I know that with our 5 elementary schools in the area, there's maybe a lack of supplemental education. And those are things where a library fits in where we do not. The library not only provides supplemental education for children, like especially now with their summer reading program going on. The summer reading program is geared towards children, teens, and adults, but it also offers a heating and cooling space. It offers community space. So if you wanted to have a meeting about something, if you wanted to do a study group, if you wanted to, have a space where you can research a topic, those are things that we cannot do. We do not offer things like, we cannot provide free Wi-Fi for the entire community. We cannot provide computers for the entire community. But a library has computers you can rent every 30 minutes while you're there. And they give you access to free Wi-Fi so you can do things on your phone, your laptop, your computer. If you do not have the disposable income for the computer, you don't have disposable income for the Wi-Fi. If you do not have disposable income for some of the online library services that are offered, because the library does pay for subscriptions that are then free to a library user once you have a library card.
Exactly.
Things that I'm interested in are like Craftsy and Freegal, which is like music. I recently wanted to introduce my child to Destiny's Child.
Nice.
And the one CD was in Kern County. I was going to have to wait a little while. But I could listen to music for free on Freegal and introduce my child to Destiny's Child.
Amazing.
But I also can use Craftsy, which is a paid subscription that gives you access to classes and just instruction on various types of crafting. They also offer like classes. I myself am working with the Gillis Library right now. Since last fall, I have been offering a free crocheting class to people every Friday from 11 to 1. And now that school's out, I was able to add to the calendar child and teen crochet classes at the Gillis Library. Those will probably go away once school starts up again, because lives get busy, children have extracurricular activities, and, so it becomes less of a need to fill the child's time.
Right.
However, those are things that I want to utilize to build a good working relationship with those who are entrusted to man the fort at Gillis Library. I absolutely love all the librarians there.
Mm-hmm.
They are fantastic, amazing people who are dedicated to the community. And I just want more of that dedication for the Tower District community.
Yeah.
The Gillis Library was actually founded in 1940 in a one-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
One bedroom, 1940. And the A Century of Service book that the library put out actually states that it was only $20 a month. But in 1940, that was about $536 or something like that. So
I was like, whoa.
It was still a pretty penny. It eventually moved to a 2-bedroom apartment, and it moved again, finally landing in a double storefront at 150 and 152 West Olive Avenue. It is a dirt lot now. That whole building is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. But it was there from like 1952 until 1975. We had a library. We had several versions of a library in the Tower District. It was the Gillis Library. Then they plucked it and they moved it up to West Dakota Avenue. You'll know, most people recognize the small shopping center that it's in. It's on an end cap of the shopping center.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say it is, I believe, more square footage than what Paliti has. But Paliti is getting a new library in the Rite Aid building, catty corner, from its existing location. And that's what I want to do for the Gillis Library.
Wow.
I either want the Gillis Library to move closer to the Tower District, or if it finds a more favorable location, one that offers more square footage, more parking, better facilities for the library, that's what I want. If they can't find that closer to Tower and they find it a little bit further from Tower, I'm okay with that, because it means that we can then go to the county and say, well, wait a second, our library just got moved further away from us. Mm-hmm. It was good for the library. It's good for the community in that direction. It is not good for our community here in the Tower District. And we can then add a few more teeth to our argument in regards to, we need a general purpose Tower District library.
Yeah.
Or they can give it whatever name they want. But the Tower District needs a library. We need all of the services that the library provides.
I think sometimes people don't realize, like, when you're bringing it up, it's like, of course, but sometimes, especially if they, don't go to the library, they don't realize how many services. It's not just like a place where you can go and check out a book. It's so much more than that. So do you think that would you say that your main motivation for being behind this, because this isn't like an easy thing to be behind, would you say your main motivation is that you did see like where there were needs that you, through the hackerspace, weren't able to provide, and then because you have a relationship with the library and experience it, that those two worlds kind of collided, and then you thought, what would be really cool, would be really needed and really useful here? Is that how that all went down? Like, just how did that all connect? What was your main motivation?
So the actual spark came from a gentle person called Arthur Robinson. Arthur was attending a meeting that was at Root Access. We had Annalisa Perea come with her aide at the time, Johan, came for a Van Ness Village Business Roundtable meeting. And it was in hopes of getting some grant funding to do some things to our area. Things like trash cans and more trees planted into the sidewalk to provide shade to eliminate the heat effect. Arthur said, well, I know this isn't like something that like you can fix with this grant, but we need a library. And the
Mm.
whole point of the getting the grant part was because Annalisa Perea had done, or her team had done a demographic study of our area and had realized that in our area in the Tower District, we were very underserved. In fact, we were the most underserved. And when Arthur said, why not a library to help us if we're so underserved? I was like, oh my God, why hadn't I thought about that at all? I travel to libraries. I have a scrapbook of libraries that I have loved ones, family, friends that when they travel, I say, can you just take pictures of the library that you see? And so I can print them out and put them in my scrapbook. Um,
Wow.
our our best friend does a lot of cruises with family, and my favorite pages in my scrapbook are the double page spread for this gorgeous library on a cruise ship.
Oh my goodness.
Um, but it really got me thinking because just before that, Tower District residents kind of gathered together to do a letter writing campaign to assist Spokeasy in being able to keep their backyard,
Hmm.
their backyard space. There were some like legal issues like paperwork and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was like it was going to be more helpful if the community spoke up and said like we like that aspect of it, please let it stay. I myself and a dear friend, Ryan Porter, like helped me write a letter that was like a blanket letter, and then giving you lines that you could fill in about your own personal experience. And I had all the envelopes and I printed out sticker labels for city council. We knew where to send it. And then we gave all of these envelopes and letters and everything. I even had some stamps. It was their 1 year anniversary and there was a huge letter writing campaign. And after the meeting, I went up to Johan and I said, okay, we just did this successful letter writing campaign. Do we do the same thing to get a library? Just another like big letter writing campaign? Is that the first step? And he was like, did you? Is that why all the envelopes had this like blush pink look to them? Everything looked the same. There were like 320 of these letters that he himself had to open, as the aide. And I was like, oh dear. Yeah, that was me. I that was me. And he's like, oh, okay. No, it's gonna be a lot more than just letters. Like the next day I was talking to County Board of Supervisors. I was talking to
You hit the ground running.
I did. I grabbed the ear of then Fresno County Public Librarian Ramon Bath because I wanted to learn what does Fresno County Public Library want or need before going to the County Board of Supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind enough to assign me a library liaison so that I could ask questions and I could give information, and the liaison would then take them to the Fresno County Public Librarian and then come back to me. We now have a new Fresno County Public Librarian, Sally Gomez. She's wonderful. She was formerly the assistant Fresno County Public Librarian. And I know that the Friends of the Library support her and I support her. She's got a tough job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be, I see her, I talk to her. I'm working with her. She knows exactly what I want. I did ask Santa for a library for Christmas. I did not get it. So I guess I just wasn't good enough.
Are you getting like, what's the support? Like, both from, people like you're talking about, like in city council, that kind of stuff, but also just like the local community, who's behind you with this? I mean, obviously we're having a interview and we're doing a donation based class. Not everyone will listen to this before, but so yeah, so obviously there's people who are like, yes, 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 but like, are you getting support for this?
Yes, actually, South Tower Community Land Trust, they do amazing work. They're building the Broadway Parkway.
Oh, uh-huh.
Um, down in the south part of Tower in the old police substation
Mm-hmm.
lot. I met with their executive director now, Kyle Lopez Schmidt, and I was brought forward to the board and asked if they would be my fiduciary sponsor because they have 501c3 status. And that meant that I could do everything as one person, but have 501c3 connection, which meant that I could open a bank account with them
Mm-hmm.
and I could start building a Tower District Library fund, a nest egg, so that eventually when this happens, I can take all this money and give it to the library and say, I know that you had to do all this work, but I want to ease the burden financially in some way. And Friends of the Library groups do that. This is not unheard of. It's just, I don't have a Friends of the Library group for the Tower District Library because there cannot be a group without a library.
Oh.
Which is why I'm currently a Friends of the Library member for the Gillis Library. Because my association, I want it to be with the Gillis Library. That is the Tower District Library. It was.
Yes. And so your goal is to move it into Tower or closer to Tower?
If
So,
possible, but the restrictions on spaces are actually quite high. They need a certain amount of square footage, a certain amount of parking spaces, a certain amount of like how old the building is, what kind of how much renovation will need to be done to the building. Is this a lease? Is this a buy? So all of that comes into an account. And I have talked with the Fresno County program manager of real property. And so I do know what the county is looking for. That's an issue. The needs may not suit any of the available buildings
mm-hmm.
in the Tower District or near the Tower District, or the building might be too far into the Tower District and it would leave a gaping hole where Gillis now sits.
Mm.
And I know that kind of sounds weird. They took it from us, moved it 3 miles away, and left us with a gaping hole because we rely on our walkability.
Mm-hmm.
And where they moved it is not easily accessible by public transportation, nor is it easily accessible to any of our members in the community who are seniors or use mobility aids or have any other kind of disability that makes mobility difficult. So I know it sounds weird, but that was a hurt in 1975 that I don't want to do to the community where
No, it doesn't
Gillis
sound
Library
weird.
currently
That sounds
is.
compassionate, but it sounds like there could be a middle way.
It'll be up to the county. It won't really be up to me.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who are going to have to put together the lease. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones who are going to have to put together all the plans for the renovations. And that's going to far supersede probably any money that I will have accumulated.
Yeah.
So it's kind of out of my hands. But I am
Yeah.
talking to the people whose hands it is in.
Yes.
But to get back to who I have support from, I have support from Root Access, South Tower Community Land Trust, Tower District Rotary Club, who allowed me to come in and do a meeting, and they support me, Tower District Marketing Association, and Tower District Specific Plan Implementation Committee. So I also worked with the Tower District Specific Plan Implementation Committee to try and put in a policy that states that the Tower District wants a library.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that will do, I do not know, because the city cannot tell the county to do anything. However, with the city's support, if they accept that policy, if they put it into the official specific plan for the Tower District, I will then be able to give that to the Fresno County Public Library to then take to the Fresno County Board of Supervisors to say, it's not just the community. The city of Fresno has agreed to this. The city of Fresno says that it is official. They want a library. So now the city can throw a little bit of weight behind me and my ask of the Fresno County Board of Supervisors.
Is there like a petition for like individuals in the community to sign to, because so you need money, of course, for these kinds of things as a way of supporting and as a way to like have, like as you said, some more teeth in a conversation, let's say, but you also need support in the way of like, so like you said, they need to know that like people want this, just like they did with Spokeasy and the patio, like people in the community, because it will benefit our community directly for all of the reasons that you said, right? For just like the accessibility for things that not everyone has available. Uh, and all these people signed on this petition are a representation of that. So is that what other kind of ways can you like have some more weight and like skin in the game to try to get this here in our neighborhood?
So my husband last year was very kind to make me a website. You can go to towerlibrary.org. If you go to towerlibrary.com, it takes you somewhere else.
Oh,
But if you go to, it was very romantic. He bought me towerlibrary.org.
aw,
And then he built me a website.
aw.
And on the website, there is a button to sign the petition. As a citizen, you can sign the petition. Tower Neighborhood Association helped me put together a survey that you can answer, and we can look at the demographics of like, we want to know what library you use in the area. We want to know your thoughts, but we also want to know what services does the library offer that you are interested in. Things like the computers and the Wi-Fi are very popular. But people also didn't know that read to dogs is something that the libraries offer.
I didn't know that.
So not all branches do this, but you can go on to the library's website, the Fresno County Public Library's website, and you can look at each individual branch, and each individual branch will have its own calendar of activities and events. They even have activities and events by age. So if you have an infant, if you have a child, if you have a teen, if you're an adult, if you're a senior citizen, that they have different calendars of events that would interest you given your age or your situation in life. The Gillis Library works with a member of the Friends of the Library who is Friends of the Library for Gillis, and she brings in a dachshund, and I have to say this, a champion dachshund. Like
Wow.
She breeds dachshunds specifically for show, and then we'll train them to also be therapy dogs. So these dogs will also go to nursing homes and hospitals and things of that nature. But we either have Tiffany will come. She is like a wire hair dachshund champion. And we also have Xena, and she is also a champion. And she is a beautiful, like a sleek dachshund. And you do not have to be a child or a teen to sit with these dogs and pet them and read to them. They want to be there. They want to be loved on. They are not allowed to lick because they also go to senior citizens, like the nursing homes and the hospitals, so they can't lick. So that is discouraged. So I'm sorry, no puppy kisses.
Yeah.
No kisses, but you can pet and stroke the dog and just like.
See, it's things like this that people don't even think about, and I know too, like, I'm just thinking about there was a time when my daughter was really young. She's 13 now. And I was going through a hard time and transitioning in life. And it was nice to be able to go and take her to like story time at the library where we could like be in the air conditioning for a while and have something to do that wasn't going to cost me money because I was trying to figure some things out, and I remember that there was like tutoring at that library, and it was just like a safe space in general, and you could tell some people were there just to feel safe for a little bit. So what it makes me think about like what kind of like short-term and long-term, like what kind of short-term and long-term impact do you think that having a library in the Tower District or very close to the Tower District has? You've mentioned a lot of things before, but yeah, just to kind of like circle back to that.
So in the short term, a lot of the people in our community or in the world will have noticed that you really can't apply for a job these days without applying online. How are you supposed to apply online if you don't know how to use a computer, have no internet savvy, don't have a computer, or don't have Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to get a job?
You don't.
But the library offers supplemental education on how to use a computer, how to use the internet, and offers you a free computer for 30 minutes so you can job hunt, so you can apply. It offers you free Wi-Fi. If you have a laptop or you have a phone, you do everything on your phone, but you're chewing through data.
Yeah.
You can go to the library.
Yeah.
That's short term.
Uh-huh.
Right now, we're in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah.
Where can you go other than the mall to sit and be and have air conditioning? Where can you go right now that is a free safe space?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay a fee. You don't have to have a membership. You can just walk in there and be yourself.
Yeah.
And if you are harassed, they have security, and the librarians are also there to protect each patron, even if it means protecting them from another patron.
Yeah.
You will have noticed we are winding down Pride Month, but Pride is all year.
Yeah.
And right now, there are a lot of very scary things happening across the globe when it comes to LGBTQ resources, education, safe spaces, and the library is not there to judge.
And unfortunately, in some libraries and schools, those certain topics are being taken from. So it might be the only place where someone could go for information when they wouldn't otherwise have access at their home or now even their school, some people.
Now, there are already safeties in place in libraries. This has become a big issue since County Board of Supervisors, Mr. Brandow, came forward last year with the Parents Matter Act. It has not yet been put in place. The committee has not yet, I believe, been formed. But right now, if you are a child, there is no pornographic material in the children's area. That is by law. When you are a child and you have a library card, your age is attached to your card. That means if you're under the age of 13, you cannot check out books or movies or music or video games that have a teen or PG-13 rating on them. You have to inform the library when you've turned 13. I had to do that for my kid. I called them up and I was like, hey, we've had a birthday. My child is 13 now. Can you please update their library account? Now my kid can check out teen video games and can check out PG-13 movies. When my child turns 18, again, we'll notify the library, and my kid will then be able to check out mature audience games, R-rated films. We'll be able to check out material that is then appropriate for their age.
Because they're an adult. Yeah.
Right. But there's the internet. And so if a child is solely learning about things on the internet and not being able to fact check using the library safely because they may not be in a safe environment, so they're learning wherever they can, they could go to the library and utilize those resources and talk to librarians who are not there to judge you, who are only there to basically be the safeguard of information.
Librarians are like little saints, little guardian angels.
Yes.
I love librarians.
They are the most dedicated and interesting people. I meet a lot of people running root access, and it's not to say that those people aren't interesting. It's just that I have such a love for libraries that I find librarians to be these unique people who are there to help their community freely.
Yeah. I have a question about so you have this beautiful website, thanks to your hubby, that's so sweet, and we can fill out a survey, we can sign the petition, we can donate funds monetarily. Are there opportunities for community members to volunteer or contribute in any other ways?
Well, last year I did do a book fundraiser where we had so many wonderful volunteers helping with this giant book sale. It was a one-day event. And it was at Labyrinth Art Collective, the Black Box Theater next to Spokeasy.
Yeah.
And everybody got to fill up bags of various sizes, and you only paid $5 a bag. But like, I could not help people. I sat with the cash register and like the little QR code that you could scan to, pay. And we had a table that also needed to be manned by adults that was make your own bookmark, because we wanted to be a family friendly event where you could make something for free
Yeah.
that corresponded with what you were doing there, which was getting books.
I love that.
But I couldn't move, so I needed volunteers to help set up and like restock, and I needed volunteers to help at the table, and all I could do was like direct people
From your
with,
chair.
from my chair.
Yeah.
Like, I would ask, so my kiddo, I would say, honey, go announce again that people need to be using the facilities. They need to be able to take breaks. They need to use the bathroom. They need to get water. They need to get food. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I needed my kid to be my legs to
Yeah.
go and like do that too.
Kids are good for that though.
Yes, it was very helpful. The other fundraisers that I've been doing, I did a silent auction, and I did get donations from like Bookish, which
Mm-hmm.
is a used bookstore on Olive Avenue, just the other side of Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a donation from Lush.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a donation from Lush.
Bath bombs? No.
No, actually, no, what I specifically wanted from Lush was this soap Play-Doh that I used to get for my kid,
I did that
because
too.
they had one that was like fairy themed, so it was a lot of vibrant colors. And I had a friend who had donated several crocheted items. One was a giant Sesame Street Abby doll
Wow.
with the wings and everything.
Wow.
So I asked Lush for the fairy soap. It went in there with a bunch of Sesame Street books from Bookish. And then the other one, my friend had crocheted a Ponyo. If you're familiar with Studio Ghibli films,
Yes.
it's the scene where Ponyo is stuck in the glass jar right before Sasuke rescues her from the glass jar. So she specifically crocheted it so the head fits in the jar.
That's so cute.
And that one I paired with bath bombs, but that was from like us, not Lush. I paired it with Ponyo stickers and lots of bath bombs. It was very much a theme. They were both very themed
Themed.
baskets.
I love that. My kiddo too. It sounds like our kids are on the same age. She's 13, but she loved that Lush Play-Doh. And yeah, I remember like we could only get it here and there. Lush is pretty expensive. It's nice. I love it in there. But whenever we got that, she was super happy. So, okay. So you have different collaborative events and then you bring in the craftiness to it and all that kind of stuff, which I hope that, people do hear this before the event that we do together. And if not, then obviously we've talked about lots of different ways that someone could contribute to supporting the Tower District Library project at this point to bring it together. But yeah, Farron will be leading a 1 hour hot yoga class on Saturday, July 6th. It's from like 11 to 12. And all the donations will be going to support this initiative. We really want it to go down, obviously. Not only do I myself, my husband, do we live in the tower and obviously have our yoga studios here in the tower, but our members, a lot of the members are in the neighborhood and are here. And I know that just from the free events that we do, whether it's the free art night or the clothing swaps, or we did a book swap not that long ago, or we do like community potlucks and stuff, like we try to offer as many of those kinds of events as we can as well, just to like break down the barriers of access of like actually like coming on in here. There's a free yoga class on Saturdays. So there are definitely, portions of our community who that's their kind of like way in, and I know that they would benefit so much from having a library for a lot of the services that you were saying, in addition to like checking out books. We even have a book club. It's kind of like on a summer break right now, but yeah, a lot of people are on Libby either trying to get on audio for free or like they're getting their books from the library to be able to like kind of keep up. So yes, of course, I think people would love the library just to be able to check out books and just it to promote like a good thing for the community in another space, but it's all those other services that again I think are so overlooked that you've talked about today, for the computers, for the safe space, for the like community too, just the sense of community. There's I love the Tower District for so many reasons, but I think more of these kinds of things where it's not necessarily focused around like alcohol or something like that is just so necessary. And like you said, root access can't provide everything to everyone. You can try your best within like the space you have and the skills you have and the resources you have. And we are the same way. We do. And no one's perfect and we're not at our ideal of like where we think would be the best way to offer something to people in the community, but we are moving in a direction. We like spread our net as wide as we possibly can. It's a evolving thing, and a continual thing, but we not one of us can do everything. And this would bring so much of what's in those kinds of like needed realms that like maybe we can't, especially as like smaller business owners too. It would just be so amazing. So like what are the next steps for this like actually being realized? Where are you at in the process?
Where I'm at is wanting to gain more support from other organizations, whether they're in the Tower District or they're in Fresno. Specifically, things like the VA. We have a number of veterans who reside in the Tower District who could benefit from the support that is at like the Betty Rodriguez Library and the Central Branch Library, where once a week somebody mans a table from the VA, offering pamphlets and information and things that can help veterans. But not everybody has the transportation, the accessibility to get down to Central or to get over to Betty Rodriguez to access all of that. And so being able to say, like, yes, if we had a library, we could absolutely invite the VA to put in one of their volunteers to offer VA services once a week, to let people know that if you are in this area, this is going to be more accessible to you to get these pamphlets, have these conversations, fill out forms, do what's necessary. And that's definitely not something we can do at Root Access.
Mm-hmm.
It's things like that. It's so much more than books.
Mm-hmm.
It really is about reaching these pockets within the community that may need a specific kind of help. And it would fill me up. It would fill me up if we could have a space like the newly renovated Fig Garden Library, like the Betty Rodriguez Library, like the Woodward Library, where not only do they have the general areas for children, teens, adults, their movies, their video games, their CDs, they also have a community room, they have study rooms, and they have a quiet room.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
a room for people who get overstimulated,
Mm-hmm.
having a room where people don't want to hear anything than the rustle of a page or the gentle tap on a phone.
Mm-hmm.
A study room where people could talk about and gather that wanted to maybe organize for a movement,
Mm-hmm.
a protest,
Mm-hmm.
where they wouldn't have to pay a fee to be a brick and mortar space, to say, this is where we're meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have to buy coffee. We don't have to buy tea. We don't have to pay anything. We're just there.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Having a community room. I use basically what is the community room at Gillis, and the community room at Betty Rodriguez. At Gillis, that's where I offer crocheting classes. It's separate from the library, so we don't bother, hopefully, as many people, but it is not a closed off space. So I'm sure our laughter and our talk, affects maybe a few people who aren't wearing headphones. And at the Betty Rodriguez Library, there is an enclosed community space where we can talk privately if we needed to, but where we gather as the closely knit group and we craft once a week.
It's great.
And and some of these ladies who are older either have to get rides from friends or use the public transportation handy rides.
Yeah.
But they have a space where they can get out of their home or out of wherever they are currently living, get away and talk to people and
Socialize.
have a connection with a human being
Yeah.
that cares about what they're doing.
Hmm. Yeah, this is so important. I'm sure we can talk for so much longer, and maybe we'll have to have you back on down the road to like check in with the progress. But I am so happy to have chatted with you to dive deeper into the purpose and potential impact that this will make. And again, if people are listening to this in real time, please join us on Saturday, July 6th. It's from 11 to 12. All the donations will be going to this initiative. And if you're listening to this past the date or you can't make it, then I'll let Brooke again remind you the website, Instagram. Please share all the information of where people can reach out to you with any questions or maybe potential ways to support. I don't know if anyone's listening and has some ideas. Just reach out to Brooke. We will also make sure that we link all the info in the show notes. That way, people can go and find that. But yeah, where can they find you?
They can find me at Tower District Library ADV on Instagram and Tower District Library Advocate on Facebook. And then on the towerlibrary.org website, there's actually a button that will email me at towerdistrictlibrary@gmail.com. And you can send me ideas of organizations that might be interested in either donating or supporting with like just saying with a letter of it's basically a letter of support, and then I get to put their name on the website or their logo.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, my biggest thing is that I need to show Fresno County Board of Supervisors that I have support not only from our citizens, but also our organized citizens, people
Yeah.
who are in organizations that impact the Tower District, or they could be organizations, it could be Valley Children's Hospital that just wants to show support, to say like, we have patients that live in the Tower District that could greatly benefit from, some of those programs offered at a library in their community.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I do Art Hop at Root Access
Cool.
every month. I give free lemonade as a bribe to stand there and let me talk to you about how much I want a library and like to tell you to go to the website. But I also, last year, all I did was give out free lemonade. And I didn't like that. I felt kind of guilty about asking for donations because I don't like nothing for something. So what I've started doing is I've started hand making a lot of different lemon themed items that you can purchase, and I'll be posting pictures on Instagram and Facebook eventually, but things that you can purchase, and all of the money goes to the Tower District Library Fund.
Cool.
I'm crocheting, I'm sewing, I'm going to be quilting. We just wrapped up a readathon this year.
Cool.
For which I made all of the prizes by hand.
Wow, incredible.
I made 2 quilts. One quilt went to the person who read the most. One quilt went to the person who made the most money. And then everybody got crocheted book keychains and hand sewn bookmarks with the towerlibrary.org logo put on with Cricut heat vinyl.
Amazing.
I would take commissions to get more money for the library project, but right now I'm making stuff that I think people will like.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy it, and that goes all to the Tower District Library Fund. And I just finished celebrating a 1-year anniversary this May 18th. 1 year of bugging the criminally out of everybody that I want this library so badly.
Well, like seriously, blessings to you. Keep up the good work. And I know that our collaboration is just one teeny tiny little drop in a bucket that you need to fill all the way up. But however, we can help. We're trying to get creative too here. So it's why we thought about also bringing you onto the podcast. So hopefully it'll reach more and more people because, yeah, this is something that community is at the core of what we are about here at the yoga studio. And again, as you said, we have kind of what we offer. And so if we can kind of adjacently chip in a little bit here and there, of course we want to. So we're really excited for the event. I hope it does really well. And of course we'll keep up with you. And I might even, you might see me show up at the library for a crochet thing. I don't know. I'm not as crafty, but it could be fun. But I just want to say we do need to wrap this up and I want to let you go. But thank you so very much for this conversation. It's so important and so needed. And just thank you for your time and thank you for everything that you're doing. And we'll be looking forward to the event. Again, I'll just say it one more time. It's Saturday, July 6th. It's from 11 to 12. It's a hot yoga class here in the studio, and all the donations will be going to the Tower District Library. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thanks again for listening in and joining our yoga community. If it so resonates, please share this episode with a friend. Remember, the inner light of awareness within me honors the inner light of awareness within you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep flowing with grace.